Hello everyone, it is Comrade for Comrade Chasing. We have a winter storm on the way for a good chunk of New England into the Northeast. Let's actually look at the US map. As you can see, there are winter storm warnings and advisories all across New England from central Maine all the way down, even past New England in the Northeast into the mid-Atlantic, into Virginia and West Virginia. Looks like we also have a nice storm warning there in Pennsylvania. Since I'm southern New England area, I'm gonna just cover southern New England. Um, if you need something for a different region, I think Max Velocity and I'm sure Ryan Holiall has done videos on the storm, or is going to do some videos before the storm hits. Anyways, going to the Boston Norton page, we have a winter storm warning in effect for most of Massachusetts, excluding the immediate Cape Cod and the islands. A winter storm warning is also in effect for all of Rhode Island and all of Connecticut. And I also think for, a good chunk of New Hampshire and Vermont, and a good chunk of New York State, too. Um, for the Boston Norton area, this is for 4 to 7 inches of snow expected. This is in effect from 7 p.m. this evening to 1 p.m. Tomorrow afternoon. Travel could be very difficult. If you travel, keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in your vehicle in case you get stuck. In the New York City region, heavy snow expected, mixed with some sleet. 5 to 7 inches of snow expected, and a light glaze of ice is also possible. The Burlington warning is for 5 to 8 inches. It's just for Rutland and Windsor counties in Vermont. And Albany is 5 to 10 inches. This is for like Saratoga Springs, Albany, all them. 5 to 10 inches of snow is expected. Alright, this for northern Connecticut, and the Berkshires, 5 to 8 inches of snow expected. Gray, Maine, 7 to 10 inches, so really a good-sized snowstorm, which is weird for the storm system. It's not really a very organized one, but there's going to be a lot of moisture coming up into southern New England, so that's probably why it's going to be snowing as hard as it is going to be. Here's Boston's weather story. So here's the headlines. Can I keep it? Okay, I guess not. So there's your times: 5 to 8 p.m. in the pink, 7 to 10 in the red there. There's your overall impacts. Orange is very moderate and expect disruptions, and Springfield was in it. Pause the video if you want to read everything. There's that. There's the headlines. There's your confidence levels: 6 to 8 inches Springfield, Boston, Fitchburg 8 to 12. There's your times again. Red is 7 to 10, 5 to 8 in the pink. There's your overall impacts. And there's your chance of 1 hour snow. Looking like in the after midnight kind of thing. So there is definitely a chance for 1 hour, 1 inch per hour rates tonight, especially near midnight or even after midnight. Let's look at the storm and the snow totals. So the expected snowfall right now is 7 to 11 inches at Greenfield, 6 to 9 at Pittsfield, 6 to 8 at Springfield, 4 to 7 at Middletown, Connecticut, 6 to 9 at Worcester, 7 to 10 at Boston, 4 to 8 at Hyannis, 5 to 8 at Taunton, 4 to 7 at Newport, 2 to 5 at Block Island, 4 to 7 at Bridgeport. And looks like 6 to 9 at Albany, and 6 to 9 at Bennington, Vermont, and 7 to 10 at Keene. So really good size numbers here. Here's the high amount. This is a 10% chance of the highest snowfall actually falling. 10 inches at Pittsfield, 12 at Greenfield, 9 at Springfield, Waterbury, Bridgeport, 12 inches at Boston, 13 at Fitchburg, 12 at Manchester, New Hampshire, 13 at Portsmouth, 10 inches at Hyannis, 13 inches at Provincetown. That's actually quite interesting, especially since it's right now only in a. I mean, Provincetown's got a 4 to 9. That's quite a spread for inches, and it's in the advisory, not the warning. It's interesting. Actually up the totals a little bit for the low end amount. It was 4 inches when I looked at it this morning for Springfield. Now it's up to 5. I'm thinking, and I'll show you my unofficial snowfall map, but I'm thinking Springfield at least gets 6 inches of snow. That's what I'm thinking. If they're up in the totals now, they usually lower the totals, but now they're kind of upping them a bit. 5 inches at Springfield, Pittsfield, Worcester. Boston, 6 inches at Lowell, Fitchburg, Greenfield, Keene, Manchester, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. 3 inches at Provincetown and Hyannis. An inch at Nantucket, an inch at Block Island. So that is the least amount of snow that will fall, most likely. I'm getting a 90% chance. So if you're in Springfield and Boston, those areas, expect at least 5 inches of snow tomorrow morning, and at most expect 9 to 12 inches, depending on where you are. On terms of the point, 6 inches at Springfield, 8 at Pittsfield, 7 at Boston. So I'm thinking I'm gonna agree with the general consensus, 6 to 8 inch storm, because there is still the potential for some dry air. But I don't really think that's going to be too much of a concern if it's going to be at least 5 inches of snow. Alright. Let me show you the forecast models, what we're looking at. I just had to make my thing here. So, we'll let this play. Actually, I'll slow it down just a tad bit. Alright, so you got your snow coming in here. Here's around 4Z, so this is close to midnight. You have this heavy band of snow across New York City, Connecticut, and portions of western and central Massachusetts. Keep it going. You do have a lot of heavy band, and that will contribute to most of the snowfall amounts there. Around 8 o'clock, you can see there's a good sleet snow line in northern central Connecticut. It should stay all snow for the majority of Massachusetts and good chunk of northern Connecticut. I don't think the sleet line's going to be this high up, especially for 8 a.m. It should still be in the upper 20s. And the snow leaves roughly around 2 p.m. So it's not going to be an all-day snowstorm. It's just going to be a morning and, this evening snowstorm. But for the HRRR, it's showing about 9.5 in Northampton, 9.7 at Worcester, 9.5 at Boston and Pittsfield. And showing like 7 inches on Long Island and 7.5 inches in southern Connecticut near Norwich and New Britain. On the RAP model, kind of staying with the consensus of HRRR. Actually, let's see what. Yeah, alright. This is through 9Z though, that's my only thing. I'm gonna keep it that way. Alright, so 9.5, 9.3 at Hartford, 10.4 at Northampton, 11.5 at Worcester, and 10.1 at Boston. So definitely a bit higher than what the National Weather Service is thinking for the highest amounts. And you do have this corridor of 12 plus inches in the eastern Berkshires and the western hills of Hampden, Hampshire, and Franklin counties in western Massachusetts. You also have this band in central New York, just north of Binghamton and west of Albany. So those are some of the areas, because they're very mountainous and or hilly. You could see totals up to about a foot, maybe a little over a foot. And most I'm thinking anywhere. The most I'm thinking for snow is maybe 15 inches. That's my cutoff. I don't think there's going to be anything higher than that. There could be, but I really doubt it. NAM is pulling off from the south, so it's looking like a small corridor with Long Island around 4 inches, 4 to 6 inches in southern Connecticut, minus the little piece here. Uh, Looking like 14 inches in Pittsfield, 10 inches at Northampton. Probably would correlate down to 9 inches at Springfield, 9.5 inches at Boston, 10.6 at Worcester. You know, this corridor of 13 to 16 inches on the NAM. I doubt that's going to happen, but it really could, too, because that's right over the mountainous area. As well as the northern Worcester Hills could see up to a foot. The NAM 3 kilometer has 8.4 at Pittsfield, 6.6 at Albany and Northampton, 7 and 8 inches at Boston and Worcester. And also, like, it's a regular NAM model. It's kind of pulled out from Long Island, just keeping a general consensus of 36 inches at southern Connecticut. It all really kind of depends on the track of it. If it goes a bit more north than it's been modeled to, then there's going to be a lot of snow in the interior. But if it stays a little bit south, New York City and them could be in the play for some up to half a foot of snow. We'll look at the Canadian one. I don't know what's wrong with the Canadian one. I think the College DuPage said they're working on it, but I don't know. Yeah, so there's Tollsey's Sunday, like 4 inch. I really doubt that's gonna happen. This is like the lower end amount, and I think this is probably a model that the National Weather Service has been looking at. For lower end amounts. I doubt this. I could see more of a half a foot plus for most areas. Okay, so here's my unofficial snowfall map. This is my idea of it. So I'm thinking 3 to 6 inches across southern Connecticut and Rhode Island and the Cape and Long Island. I think I already said that. 36 inches, isolated amounts up to 8 inches possible. I can't really see it because there's not really much hilly terrain in the south. But any area with hilly terrain, per se, could see potentially 7 to 8 inches, but I kind of doubt it. Rest of the area, most of Massachusetts, good chunk of New Hampshire, good chunk of New York, good chunk of Connecticut and Rhode Island. Could definitely see 4 to 8 inches plus, isolated amounts up to 10 inches possible. And that's in the dark blue with the white exterior. In the purple, 6 to 12 inches possible. And that's for a good chunk of the hilly terrain, so good chunk of New Hampshire as well. Albany, maybe. Albany's kind of hard to tell because it's, it is surrounded by mountains, but yeah, the Hudson River, which would lower amounts. Vermont, the Worcester Hills, the Berkshires, those areas could see 6 to 12 easy. And I just put a couple small corridors on the northern Worcester Hills, portions of New Hampshire, and the eastern Berkshires and the western hills of Franklin, Hampshire County, and Massachusetts. Those areas, while I kind of doubt they're going to see more than a foot, it is quite possible they could, because they're in the hilly terrain. They likely could see a little bit more than their friends in the valley. It's anyone's game here. It's really hard to tell. A lot of people are taking a more conservative look on it because of the dry air and because it's not really an organized storm system. I'm just trying to find devil's advocate with the National Weather Service, my own biases on the storm and storms this year so far, and other people's biases. I'm just trying to find a nice, even balance to all three of them. Hopefully you're gonna have some snow. Hopefully you have some fun. I'll have fun until I have to shovel. That's not fun. Anyways, thank you for watching. please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to try to record some of the 1 hour plus, when the 1 inch per hour snowfall if I can, if it's not too dark out. But I will try to shoot some footage of the snowstorm. Alright, see you guys in the next video.